would I consider my #1 absolute favorite Utah resort to be? Hands down, Solitude. Solitude gave me the best days of snowboarding I think I've ever had in my life. Best snow conditions, best powder riding, and it was just truly, truly epic. I absolutely love the resort and all the terrain that Solitude had. Favorite days on a snowboard I've ever had. It had a good blend of a lot of terrain. It had lots of options to dip into the trees, which tree snowboarding is, that's like, if you're not snowboarding trees, what are you doing? That's the best form of snowboarding there is. So Solitude had tons of options to get down in the trees, but it also still had plenty of wide open terrain, as well as some rock drops, cliff drops, all that good stuff. It just felt like it had a good blend of everything. It also had the lowest crowds out of all these resorts. We never really had to wait in a line. We could just hop on the lift and go, and you had plenty of lift options as well. So if we did see one built up a little bit more, one area was a little more crowded, we'd just take another lift and pretty much walk on. Even on a powder day, we weren't the first ones on the mountain, but we still had no lines. You know, if we went to certain lifts, we had no lines the entire time, which was awesome. I mean, with those lower crowds, that powder gets tracked out much slower than some of the other resorts, because I know, like, if you go to Colorado, the powder's tracked out within 2 hours. Well, at Solitude, we found powder the whole time we were there. We had 2 big dumps of 20-inch powder days, but we rode powder the whole week because there was just tons of powder stashes to be found in the trees if you know where to look. So definitely a resort that I plan to go back to. Hands down, second favorite resort I've ever been to and favorite riding I've ever done. Absolutely loved it. If I had to knock it for a con, not so much the riding. I would say there's not as many food options in the evening hours. It's got tons of options for lunch, and it does have several for dinner, but it feels like a lot closes soon as lunchtime's over. So when it does, like if you're staying in the village, it felt like at nighttime your food options were a little bit more limited. Again, the ones that we did go to for dinner, the food was really, really good, but it would have been nice to have some more options where we were there for a full week. Who is Solitude for? I think there is anyone and everyone. I think there's terrain for all skill levels. It's great for families with that lower crowd, especially you don't have to worry about, you know, high speed people running your kids over. And it has a good blend of terrain from easy to advanced. It's got a really even mix of all, you know, green, blue, black, all that. It's a really solid mix. I also think it's for if you're looking to get the most powder lines or the best tree runs, Solitude is the place to go because that powder just lasts a little bit longer and doesn't get tracked out as fast.